So taking a couple of nice deep breaths. I'm thinking about slowing down your breathing a little bit. One of the things I like to do sometimes when I'm thinking about slowing down my breathing is counting to 8, even a quick 8. So as I inhale, I'll count inside 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and exhale for the same amount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And as you take this next inhale, bring your awareness to your neck and your shoulders. And notice how you're laying today on the floor. Notice where your arms and your hands are. And notice how they feel on the floor today. And are you laying with your palms open? Are you laying with your palms down to the floor? Are you laying with your arms in the same position? And notice how your shoulder blades feel. How do they feel against the floor? Noticing from one side to the other if there's a difference between how they feel today. And moving down to your mid-back and your rib cage. And as you take another breath in, notice how much movement is happening in your rib cage as you're breathing in and out. And now bringing your awareness to your low back. And notice how your low back is feeling today. Do you feel any tightness or soreness? And what about from side to side in your pelvis and your hips? Do you notice does one side of your hips feel heavier than the other? Just noticing any differences. And moving down through your legs and all the way to your feet. And we're going to start with some flatten.
and arches. So with your arms laying long beside your body, we're going to start with the flatten. And we're going to do an inhale first to get to our exhale. So staying relaxed, inhale. And as you begin to exhale, flatten your back to the floor, bringing your pubic bone and your ribs towards each other, tightening in your tummy muscles. Hold for just a moment, and then very slowly and smoothly begin to release the contraction in your belly. As slow and smooth as you can. And make sure to rest. And we'll repeat that again. So inhale first, staying relaxed. And exhale, flattening your back to the floor, tightening your abdominal muscles, bringing your pubic bone and ribs towards each other. Hold for just a moment, and super slowly begin to release in your abdominals as slowly and smoothly as you can. When you've finished releasing, take a moment to rest. Now we're going to do the tilt exercise. So this one we're going to do with an inhale. So inhale and tilt, rolling your tailbone forward and down to the floor. So you're gently arching your low back. Hold for a moment. And now exhale, slowly and smoothly begin to release in your back. As slow and smooth as you can. And make sure you take a moment to rest when you've finished. And we'll repeat that one more time. Inhale and arch, rolling your tailbone forward and down to the floor, gently arching that low back. Hold for just a moment, and exhale as you slowly and smoothly begin to release, letting your pelvis and your low back float back down. And at the very end of this release, we're going to go right into the flatten. So you finish releasing in your back, then flatten the back to the floor by tightening in your tummy muscles, bringing your pubic bone and ribs towards each other. Hold for a moment, and slow and smooth begin to release. Slowly now releasing in your abdominal muscles, as slowly as you can. And at the very end of that release, going into tilt again, rolling your tailbone forward and down to the floor, arching your low back gently, holding for a moment, and exhale as you slowly begin to release. Now slowly softening your pelvis and your back, slowly releasing them back towards the floor. At the end of that release, going right into flatten again, bringing pubic bone and ribs towards each other, tightening your tummy muscles as you flatten your back to the floor. Holding for just a moment, and nice and slow now. Begin to release. Slow and smooth. Releasing in the tummy. At the very end of that release, going into tilt one more time. Inhale and tilt, rolling your tailbone forward and down to the floor. Holding for a moment. And exhale, slowly begin to release. Slow and smooth, softening your back. Slowly as you can. And at the end of that release, going into flatten one more time. Bringing pubic bone and ribs towards each other, tightening your tummy muscles, flattening your back to the floor. And slowly releasing. At the end of this release, take a moment to rest. Next, we're going to go into the wash rag. So you're going to lay your arms out beside your body. Make sure that they're in a nice, comfy position. And we're going to start by, let's start tilting our knees to the left and turning your head now to the right. So you're looking to the right. Your right palm should now be facing up to the ceiling and your left palm down to the floor. Then slow and smooth, we're going to reverse this movement. So slowly bring your knees up And slowly turning your hands now so your right palm is down, your left palm will turn upwards, and your head is looking to the left. Make sure you stay in your comfort zone so that when you get to the end, like when your knees are down and your head is turned, this should feel good. Slowly with control, begin to switch again, slowly rolling your palm, left palm down as your right palm begins to roll up, your knees slowly switching and moving to the left, and your head slowly rolling now to look towards the palm that is face up. Only going as far as you can comfortably, and then slowly and smoothly begin to switch again. Really challenge yourself to go even slower this time. When you've gone as far as you can comfortably to that side, slowly switching again. So slowly rolling the left palm down, rolling the right palm up as you slowly bring your head to the right, and your knees slowly drift to the left. Notice the lengthening that's happening in your back as you slowly twist from side to side. When you've gone as far as you can comfortably, slowly switching again. As slow and smooth as you can. And when you've gone as far as you can comfortably, slowly bringing your knees back to center. And when you're back to center, taking a moment to rest. Next, we're going to do an elbow to opposite knee, but let's quickly, Auntie Linda, I heard that you were having some tightness in one of your legs. And I think you told me that last week or something too. Is it your right leg or your left leg?
My right leg mostly.
And can you point to where you feel?
It's right in the groin.
So right sort of in the hip flexor.
Yeah.
And has the physiotherapist been giving you exercises to release it or strengthen it?
He's giving me exercises. Yeah, some are hard to do. Like one I can't do. He wants me to lay on my stomach and pull this leg, put a towel or a belt or something around this leg to stretch this muscle, right?
Don't do that. Yeah, don't do that one. Instead, because remember, so our concept, the idea of stretching is that if your brain is holding that muscle tight and you try to stretch it, you're just forcing it, but your brain is still holding it in that spot, right? So you're just going to cause the stretch reflex and that muscle is just going to contract back again. So to release the quads, I'm going to give you an exercise for that right at the end of class today, because we'll need to be sitting. So we're going to finish laying down, but then I'm going to show you a super easy and gentle release for your quads. And then I actually think you should show it to your physical therapist so they can stop telling people to stretch that quad muscle. Because I mean, unless you're a young kid who has super fresh muscles, like if you've fallen or you have an injury, like or you've had a surgery or something, or you're walking different because of an injury, your brain is then holding those muscles tight. And that's what you have to reset. We have to remind your brain to release the muscles, not just force the muscle to release. We have to tell the brain to do it. So anyways, we'll do a quad release at the end and you'll love it.
Anyway, what it does is just, because I'm pulling over my shoulder and it just really hurts my shoulder and I'm not getting any stretch there anyway. So
yeah. So no sense even doing that one. Don't even try to, because we'll find an easier way to do it. Super. All right. So now we're going to do elbow to opposite knee. Whoops. So let's start with the right elbow. So can you bring your right hand behind your head? Is that one okay? Or if it's not though, remember, don't force it to go there. You could always bring it. I'm going to go back to gallery view. Can you see me, Auntie? You could just put it like this too.
Yeah,
That doesn't look very comfy. Are you not comfy?
No, it's fine.
Well, but it can't just be fine. We want you to be comfy. So if it's not comfy there, what about just laying it on in front of you on your chest? Is that better?
No, because this way, if I put it there, it's kind of held there by my head.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Okay. As long as you're comfy. All right. So we're going to start with an inhale and arch again. So inhale and arch, rolling your tailbone forward and down to the floor, holding for just a moment. And then exhale, slowly begin to release the arch in your back. Slow and smooth. And then flattening your back to the floor, lifting your head and bringing your elbow towards your opposite knee, holding for just a moment. And now nice and slow, begin to lower your head and really work to slowly lower the foot as well. Slow and smooth. When your head is resting on the floor, then slowly opening your elbow. And take just a moment to rest, and we'll repeat that one again. Inhale and arch, rolling your tailbone forward and down to the floor. Press your shoulder blade down and think of drawing that shoulder blade towards the opposite hip behind you. Exhale now, slowly releasing. Slow and smooth. Softening your back towards the floor. And then going right into flatten, bringing your pubic bone and ribs towards each other, and then lifting your head, bringing your opposite elbow, your right elbow, and your left knee towards each other, holding for just a moment, and slowly begin to release. Now focusing now on the slow, controlled release that's happening in your front, in your abdominals. And as you're slowly lowering your leg, noticing any bumps or glitches. When your head is resting comfortably on the floor, then slowly opening your elbow. And take just a moment to rest. And then we're going to switch to the other side. So you're going to bring your right arm down beside you, or anywhere where it's comfortable. And your left hand behind your head if you can do that. And start again with an inhale and arch. Rolling your tailbone forward and down to the floor, pressing your shoulder blades. Exhale now as you slowly begin to release. Slowly softening your back. Slow, slow, slow. Once you've released in your back, going into flatten, bringing your pubic bone and ribs towards each other. And lift your head and chest and bringing your left elbow and your right knee now towards each other, holding for a moment. And slowly begin to release, slowly lowering your head. Slow and smoothly lowering your foot. And when everything is back down to the floor, take a moment to rest. And we'll repeat that one again. Inhale and arch, rolling your tailbone forward and down to the floor, pressing your shoulder blade down, thinking of drawing it towards the opposite hip behind you. And exhale, slowly begin to release. And going right into flatten. Flattening your back to the floor, pubic bone and ribs towards each other, and lifting head and chest, bringing that left elbow and right knee towards each other. And then nice and slow, lowering your foot and lowering your head back down to the floor, slow and smooth as you can. And make sure you take a moment to rest. Good. And now, Auntie, is it comfortable for you to have both your arms laying long beside you on the floor?
No, no, this one doesn't want to.
The right one. Is it more comfortable for it to be like where, for you, where is the most comfortable spot for that arm to be when you're laying?
Right here, probably, or sometimes.
Right about there? And what if you lay your forearm out? Does that make it worse or the same?
Yeah, that's good.
That's good. Okay, so we're going to finish with arch and curl, but for you today, I want you to leave your right arm there and your left arm where it is, which is laying long beside your body. And what we're going to do is add in a little bit of rolling of the arms, but you're going to keep your right arm out to your side. So when I say roll it towards your body, you're just going to roll it over so that your palm will be down. So you're just going to be doing it just a little bit of movement with that right shoulder. Okay. So start with it, palm up. And we're going to start with an inhale and arch again. So inhale and arch, rolling your tailbone. And now roll your left palm open as well. So both palms will be facing up. Arching the low back, holding for a moment. And now exhale, slowly begin to release. Slow and smooth, softening in your back. And now as you go into flatten, you're going to roll your arms so that your palms are down to the floor. Well, your right palm will be down to the floor, but your left arm, you're actually going to roll it a little even more towards your body so the back of your hand is touching your body or close to your body. So you're flattening your back to the floor, tightening in your tummy, palms are rolled down. And now lift your head and chest just a tiny bit. They only need to lift a little bit. Good, hold there. Now slowly begin to release. So slowly lowering your head. Slowly letting that left arm roll open again now. And when everything is down to the floor, take a moment to rest. And we're going to do that exact same one again. So inhale and arch, rolling your tailbone forward and down. Palms are both facing up to the ceiling. And tilt your head back gently. And then exhale. Slowly begin to release in your back. Slowly releasing in your neck. At the very end of that release, going right into flatten, bringing pubic bone and ribs towards each other, flattening your back to the floor. Roll now your left arm in towards your body so your back of your hand is touching your leg or close to your body. And lift your head and chest just gently now. And then slowly lowering. So slowly now lowering your head, slowly releasing in your belly. Slow and smooth. And then take a moment to rest. And now as you take this next inhale, bring your awareness to your neck and shoulders. And notice how they feel. Comparing to how they feel now to the beginning of class. And moving down through your torso to your mid-back and your ribs. And as you take this next inhale, noticing the movement that's happening in your body as you inhale and exhale. Now bringing your awareness to your low back and your hips. Noticing how they feel. And moving all the way down your legs, to your knees, your calves, your ankles and your feet. And then nice and slow when you're ready, you're going to roll to your side and come up to sitting. We're going to finish today with a quad release. And so to do a quad release, it will be best if you can sit on a chair. You can even sit on that footstool there right beside you if you want it, or your couch. And what's nice about this quad release is you can do this anywhere you can sit down pretty much. You can do it laying down too, but I find it a little more effective to maybe to do it sitting and more comfortable. Okay. So for this one, first what I want you to do is just with your hands, feel your quad muscles. Just go ahead and feel, poke them and gently, you know, just kind of push and see, do they feel kind of tight? Just notice how they actually feel under your fingertips.
Feel tight here.
And then what about more to the center? Like if you go up to the top a little bit, how does it feel up there? Yeah, there.
Doesn't feel so bad. It's right in here that I feel the most.
Okay. So there's actually another one I'm going to suggest after the quad release then too, because that's getting a little more into your abduction and adduction of the hip flexors. But so for the quads first, let's have you lift your right leg. You're going to lift that foot only about an inch off the floor. Nope, you're going to keep it bent and you're just going to lift your foot up. And you're only going to lift it like an inch at the most. There we go. Okay, so your leg stays bent. You're gonna lift, starting with your right leg, lift it barely off the floor of your foot, just a little tiny bit. And then now nice and slow, lower it back down as slow as you can, even though you've only lifted it an inch. Lower it very slowly and then rest. And then same thing with the other leg now. So lifting your foot only like an inch off the floor, just barely lifting it. And then slowly and smoothly lowering it back down. And rest. Now moving to the right leg again. This time you're going to keep your toes on the floor as you just lift your heel up off the floor. So lift your heel and now slowly lowering the heel back down, and try to do it as slow and smooth as you can. I don't know if your eyes are closed right now, but I usually close my eyes when I'm doing somatics. I don't know why, but I feel like I can maybe focus better. And then left leg, so lifting the heel up off of the floor, toes stay down, holding for a moment, and now nice and slow begin to lower that heel. And slow and smooth as you can. And then make sure to rest. Now moving back to the right leg, this time keeping your heel on the floor, lifting your toe. Your toes, I should say, not just one toe. Lift all of your toes. Lift the ball of your foot. And then slowly lower the ball of the foot back down to the floor. Slow, slow, slow. This one's a little more for like in the ankle and foot. Good, and rest. And then left. So lifting the left ball of the foot up off the floor. Holding for a moment and slowly lowering. Slow, slow, slow. And rest. And then we're going to do the first one again. So with the right leg, you're going to lift your foot off the floor about an inch. The whole foot lifting up and then slowly lowering it back down. And rest. And then left foot, lifting it about an inch off the floor, holding and slowly lowering. And rest. Good. Okay, we're gonna do one more, which I hope will get into that more of that outside spot of the leg. So Keeping your feet on the floor, bring them a little closer together now, your feet, just a bit, good. And now keeping your feet where they are, you're gonna open your knees. Good, just about to there. And now slowly release that. So slowly let your knees come back together, super slow and smooth. And rest. And don't, maybe move your feet apart just a teeny bit, just a tiny little bit. Perfect. Okay. Now for this next, we're going to do the same one again, opening the knees. But this time as you open your knees, I'd like you to gently arch your back at the same time. So you're slowly letting the knees open, and you're slowly also arching in your low back. And your feet might turn in towards each other a little bit as you open those knees. Like your toes might come off the floor a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Yes. Now slowly begin to release the arch in your back. And slowly let your feet float back to the floor, and slowly let your knees come back to neutral. And rest. So Auntie Linda, this one we're kind of mixing together our arch and flatten exercise with the clam, like with opening the legs. So let's do that one again. And this one you could do, like I said, sitting anywhere, really. I was just going to say, you might want to move to the edge of your chair a bit. Right now I'm doing it too, and I'm kind of sitting on the front of my chair a bit. Okay, so we're going to inhale and arch. So arching our back at the same time, opening the knees and letting your feet will kind of roll onto their sides a little bit. Hold for just a moment. And now super slow, letting your back release and slowly bringing the legs together, slow and smooth. And rest. And then one last time, inhale and arch. So arching the low back, rolling your tailbone forward down to the chair a bit, opening the knees up, rolling the feet just slightly, holding for a moment, and exhale as you slowly release the contraction in your back, and slowly let your feet roll back down and the knees come back together. And then rest. And we'll finish with one more quad release on each side. So gently lifting the right leg, lifting your foot just slightly off the floor, holding for a moment, and slowly now lowering it back down. And rest. And then left leg, same thing, lifting your foot just slightly off the floor and slowly lowering it back down. And these you can do a couple of times a day. You know, it doesn't hurt to do somatics whenever you feel like your quads, like if you feel like if you were walking and your legs feel tired, these are all really good ones to do. So now just go ahead and feel your legs again and just notice if they feel any different. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes people will notice it significant, that they're not nearly as hard and tight as they were.
Can you hear me, Nikki?
Yep, now I can.
Yeah, no, I do feel a difference, and yeah, that's a really, really good one.
Excellent.
And way better if I'm on the edge of the chair. I can feel more, you know, can feel it's doing more.
Good. Okay, I'll have to remember to tell people that to stay. And it's easier to arch then too, right? If you're on the edge of the chair, then you can arch your low back a little bit.
Yeah.
Do that one. I'm sitting in my office chair, so I'm a bit spoiled right now because I have my elbows resting on the armrest too. So it's even extra more relaxing. And I think for you, do you have an office chair at home?
I do.
Maybe tomorrow have that handy. Is it on wheels?
Yes.
Yeah, because if it has, does it have armrests on it?
Yes.
Because then with your shoulder, can you see me right now or do I have you pinned?
I can see you, yes. I can see you.
Okay. Except I can't get my computer to tip down enough for you to, oh, there, if I move back. There, see how my arms are resting? So when I'm doing that arch, I don't have to hold my arms. And I know if people don't have a shoulder injury, that's not a big deal, but you do. So I know for you, they're kind of hanging there then, right? So maybe next time in the office chair, then your arms can be rested. You won't have to think about holding your shoulders. Stephen has a lot of shoulder injuries. He's had surgeries on his shoulders too. And I know it sometimes can get aggravated just from your arm hanging even. Like he likes to keep his thumb in his pocket on one arm sometimes to help from that shoulder feeling like it's just hanging down.
Right.
So yeah, give those ones a try. You'll like them. And if you need me to remind you tomorrow or the next day how to do them, just make sure you tell me.
All right. No, great. Thank you very much, Nikki. I
Oh,
appreciate
you're welcome. Yeah, I didn't know that you were having that trouble with your leg. Zoe told me that actually, like on the weekend, I think. She said you were going to physio for your leg. And I was like, well, are they helping her to strengthen it or helping her to release it? Because depending on the physiotherapist, and I do think they're starting to learn more about releasing muscles, but they tend to do a lot of strengthening, which can be really good, but you also need to release muscles. And yeah, so it depends if they're showing you how to stretch them or release them. And I feel like when you already have, especially if you already have arthritis, like for me, doing that quad stretch you were showing me, like bringing that foot up to my butt like that, especially on my side with the tear in my hip, that would not be good to do. That would not be good.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Well, definitely when I think about it, it's he is stretching it for sure, stretching them.
Yeah. And I'm not against stretching. Obviously, I'm a dancer still. So I still think that gentle stretching is good. The way I think about stretching now, though, is very different to how I thought about it before I hurt myself. So
Right.
I'm just always more leery about it now because that's how I injured myself, was from stretching. I was doing the pigeon pose in yoga, which is a stretch, and I kept pushing myself harder and deeper into that stretch, thinking that that's what I should be doing. But I shouldn't have been doing that. I was already flat on the floor. Like there was no reason for me to be pushing myself further into it. It was just my own feeling.
Yeah, that's
like,
the way we are. Yeah.
yeah, and thinking like I could do it better, I can do it deeper, I can do it harder, whatever. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was old Nikki. New Nikki doesn't stretch like that anymore.
Well, it's good to know these things,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, and that's why I'm excited to do the somatic yoga too, because so it'll be a little faster than my regular somatics class, but it will still be geared to avoiding injury and for people who already are maybe living with some sort of an injury or arthritis or a hip replacement, a knee replacement, any of those things. It'll be